Hi there, YouTube. This is Jessica G. Quinto. I'm the author of the debut novel Stand Up, Fight Back, which is a young adult murder mystery with supernatural elements. And today I wanted to do my first ever book haul. And I'm actually quite happy with this one because this has actually been accumulated over the last several months since I've started doing writing full-time as a job. And it's been just completely amazing to be able to do this. So I'm going to start off with the books that I just basically recently got. I found out that Goodwill actually has a decent selection of books, and I went to 4 different Goodwills over the course of the last week or so, and I picked up a good number of books. Some of them I've never even read, some of them I've never even heard of, so I'm like, okay, let's try. So the first one that I got, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. This, I thought, was originally like one of his big stories of Sherlock Holmes, but in actuality, it is a bunch of his shorter stories. And I picked this up, it was like $2.99 at Goodwill for hardback. Actually, basically all these books are all hardback for about $2.99. And I found this one at a Goodwill near where I used to live. And I was quite happy. I'm like, I like Arthur Conan Doyle. He is a little dry at times, but for the most part, I really do like his work, especially Sherlock Holmes, because that's where my love of mysteries first started. And years ago, my husband got me a book called The Sherlockian, which is a story about a lost mystery of Conan Doyle's. And it just made me fall in love with the author, so I'm hoping that I really enjoy this. It's a really pretty cover, and it looks pretty. It's nice. The next one I have was actually one that my husband had kind of dissuaded me from getting, but I got it anyway, and that is The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. Now, the reason that he was trying to dissuade me from getting this is because he read it a while back. And he said it bored him to tears. And he's probably sure that it would bore me to tears. I'm hoping that he's wrong and that I really like it because I loved the National Treasure movies and this kind of gives me those National Treasure vibes. And if I like this one, I will read Angels and Demons, also by Dan Brown. So I'm really hoping that I like this. I really do, because otherwise I wasted $2.99 on a book I don't like. But then again, I've wasted money on books more expensive than that. The next book that I got was actually at the same Goodwill that I got The Da Vinci Code from, and that is Alone with the Devil, Famous Cases of a Courtroom Psychiatrist by Ronald Markman, MD, and Dominic Bosco. Now, this one is actually about the courtroom psychologist who was asked to basically to testify against 5 different cases with serial killers. So we have people like Lawrence Bittaker, the vampire Sacramento Richard Chase, John Sweeney, Norma Jean Armistead, and Marvin Gaye Sr. Now, I like true crime, and I love listening to stories of true crimes that happen, which is why BuzzFeed Unsolved True Crimes is one of my favorite shows. They need to come out with another season that's faster than March 22nd, but that's neither here nor there. But I'm hoping to really enjoy this because it'll give me some good ideas on how exactly a courtroom psychologist handles cases like this. I apologize for the wicked glare on a lot of these. The next one that I got was actually more of a purely, I don't want to call it self-centered issue, but that is Vegas, One Cop's Journey. And it's by Kim Thomas. And this one I got because it is set in Las Vegas. And as you all know, I live in Vegas, so it's nice to see representation in a book. And the author, Kim Thomas, is actually a detective with Metro in their forgery detail. And this is a book about a guy named Cam Madden who decides on a whim to go and sign up for the police academy and makes it in. And apparently his first case involves a suicide. So that's already going to start off with kind of a a bad side of life. And I love one of the descriptions in here saying that there is a romance in here between him and a woman named Carrie Mae. And it says, their romance grows in a world of burglars, bums, purse snatchers, drug dealers, and homicidal idiots, no two of them alike, but each to be dealt with according to endless regulations, some of which cannot work without being severely bent. And I'm like, sounds like home. But all jokes aside, Vegas does have a very infamous reputation, and somewhat well-deserved. But a lot of people, like, when I was first kind of dating people outside of Vegas, they would always ask me, it's like, are you a stripper or do you live on the strip? And I'm like, no, I'm not a stripper. Not everyone who lives in Vegas is a stripper or commutes from California. There's a lot of people who do, but not a lot. So it's nice to see some representation from someone who actually knows the Vegas area. I do want to enjoy reading this, I hope. The next one that I got was actually a recommendation from another YouTuber, Reagan, and I'll put her channel down on the bottom. I love her videos. I love her hauls. So if you like a lot of haul videos, then she is the girl for you. So I got Reboot by Amy Tintera. And this one, she recommended in one of her early videos of her channel. And this is about a girl named Ren who comes from a society where when you die, you can be reborn into a reboot, which is, I'm not sure if it's like a robot or if it's just like someone who is just less human. And depending on how long you're dead, will tell you how less human you are. And Ren was dead for 178 minutes, which means she is one of the least human reboots that they've had. And she has to now work and train with other reboots, including one, what was his name? Callum, which I love that name. Callum is, I'm going to guess he was only dead for a little while, so he was rebooted with more humanity than most. And she now has to decide whether or not she can handle training him, even though he doesn't have the same abilities that most reboots have, or if she's able to eliminate him. But of course, romance. The next one I got is actually one that's going to help me as far as like my developmental edits, and that is Crime Scene Investigation, 3rd edition by Bruce L. Berg and John H. Horgan. I hope I pronounced that right. This is a book that basically walks you step by step through a criminal investigation. And I picked this one up at the Goodwill near my old apartment, and I'm like, okay, I like instructional books, especially about crime scene investigations and everything. It's something that I've always been very interested in, so this is going to be a very good read. The last one I got was actually one that was just more surprising than anything, and that is just a full spiral notebook with nothing in it. Mind you, got this from Goodwill. Most of the time people get rid of stuff they don't want, or things that they've used. The fact that this was only, what, $1.49 and almost completely empty. There was only one page that actually had anything written on it. I was shell-shocked. I'm like, mine. The next read that I got should be no stranger to this channel, and that is the Troubled Hop series by Layla Rainey. And I got Imperial Stout, Craft Brew, and the newest one to come out, Noble Hops. And I read Imperial Stout and Craft Brew in the late part of 2018. And I devoured this series. I devoured these two books. I devoured the original series that these came off of. And I loved it. And then I eagerly awaited the release of Noble Hops, which is the 3rd and final one of the Troubled Hops series, which features Dominic Price, and his boyfriend Cameron Byrne. And this one wrecked me. I loved it from beginning to end. I actually marathoned it in 2 days over my audiobook. I had to take a break because I was doing my my writing. That was the only reason I did not finish this in one day, was because of the fact I had to do my writing. It's like, gotta put in that work. But this one follows I can't really give a lot away, but suffice it to say, awesome couple, awesome ending. Oh my God. So much feeling, so much emotion. I can't even. So, love this book. It will more than likely be in one of my recent read videos coming up. So, keep watching for that. Now, the last ones that I have are all by the same author, and they are all writing related books. Like, they're helpful for writing. And the first one I got, ignore the pen that's in it, but it is The Emotion Thesaurus, A Writer's Guide to Character Expression by Angela Ackerman and Becca Puglisi. I never get that name right. I mentioned this book when I did my, did a video on books that I had received recently, and I picked it up, so more than likely you'll see it twice, and the reason that there's a pen in it is because I have annotated some of this book. Actually, a lot of this book. And basically what this book does is that it gives you an emotion, and it gives you a set of actions, both internal, external, mental, and actions of suppressed, to describe it so that you have a better option of showing versus telling. And that's why I'm annotating this, so that I know which ones I can pull from, which ones actually, because the way I annotate this one is that if a particular emotion springs to my mind, these are the actions that I believe would be applicable to it, at least in my own head. Because a lot of these actions do have multiple emotions that it can pull from, but the ones that I most closely associate with it. And I don't want to lose my pen. So that's the first one. Right after that one, I ended up finding out that they had a slew of other books for writers. So the first one I got is actually one that I really, really, really love. And that is The Emotional Wounds Thesaurus. And this one's for psychological trauma. Now this one, just like with The Emotion Thesaurus, it takes a particular action. In this case, it is something that happens, such as like a learning disability or death of a parent, adoption, being given up for adoption, and it breaks down the things that you could think, things that you could feel, things that are going to affect you as a human being. And oh my God, when I got this around Christmas, and I was like, oh my God, this is perfect, absolutely perfect. So I was super happy when I got this. At the same time that I got The Emotional Wounds Thesaurus, I also got these next two, which is the Positive Trait Thesaurus and the Negative Trait Thesaurus. So with these two, obviously very self-explanatory, it gives you the positive traits and negative traits of a character, and basically breaks down how those would affect their lives. And again, love these ones, highly recommend. And then the last two I actually just got yesterday in the mail. All these ones, the Troubled Hops and all the thesauruses, all came in through Amazon, so God love Amazon. The first one that I got yesterday was the Rural Setting Thesaurus. This one's for personal and natural places. I haven't had a chance to really look through it, but basically what I understand from it, I got this one because of the fact that it was personal and natural spaces, and I have a book series that I'm thinking about writing. I've already written some notes down, but it deals with a lot of natural places, and just a lot of things in here sound like they're going to be very helpful when it comes to writing personal things like in a rural area, or considering that the setting for my Reaper series is in the middle of nowhere in Nevada, so that's pretty rural. So the last book that I got was Urban Settings Thesaurus, and this one is about city spaces. Now, a lot of things that I've personally seen, because I live in, I lovingly refer to it as a big city with a small town vibe, because I've met so many people where it's like, hey, I know you, and then you know that they know like about 4 people that you know. So it's very small town-esque, but This one deals specifically with big cities. And it has, again, a lot of things where it's like you'll see the sights, you'll see the sounds, you'll see what people are doing in that setting, and basically another show, don't tell kind of helper. So if you are a writer, I highly, highly, highly recommend getting at least one of these two ladies' books, because they can be super, super helpful. And those are the books that I got from my most recent haul. Again, that is pretty large for the number of books I normally buy. I have a lot more ebooks that I've gotten recently, so I might end up doing a haul for just ebooks because, of course, I can't hold up the physical book. And I actually have to have my laptop on me to look at my, my Amazon account. So, anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you've all enjoyed this kind of menage of books. But again, Stand Up Fight Back is available for order on Amazon in both ebook, paperback, and on Kindle Unlimited. And I will see you all in the next video. Keeping fabulous. Bye-bye!